Hi there everyone, GuardianE here with another first impression video for Fire Emblem Heroes, and tonight we are getting the official trailer for the Here With Me banner. That is going to be the upcoming seasonal special hero Valentine themed banner. We did get those units revealed in the last FEH channel, so this is not going to be a surprise. We know the characters, we know their art, but this is going to be the reveal of their skills. So we are going to pause through this one at a time and evaluate each of the characters and the banner as a whole. If you are interested in seeing my first reaction and first impressions of the characters and their art, I will link the reaction and analysis of the FEH channel down in the description below if you would like to see that. And before we get started, I will just briefly remind you that if you do enjoy the content that we put out, including Fire Emblem Heroes videos, and you would like to support the channel, please consider subscribing, leaving a like down below, leaving a comment. It really does help us out, really helps out the channel, and we really would appreciate it. If not, that is totally okay. Thank you so much just for watching. Let's get started. Cherishing every moment with you. Special heroes to battle. So first up is going to be Lucina. I really do adore this art style for her. I think it's great. Future Fondness, it's very unique, really beautiful. She's going to be an axe armor unit. And we're able to fully see that she has a save skill, if it wasn't obvious already. Gerbera Axe, 16 might, grants speed +3, so it seems like she might be a speedy armor. If a movement assist skill, like reposition, shove, pivot, is used by unit or target's unit, grants neutralize foes bonuses during combat to unit and target ally or unit and targeting ally for 1 turn. If foe initiates combat or if foe's HP is greater than or equal to 75% at start of combat, grants +5 to all stats to unit during combat and reduces damage from the foe's first attack during combat by 40%. Alright, so reading through, I wasn't thrilled at the fact that there was a movement assist skill condition for an effect activation, but then I saw that she has future vision for her assist. So that is legendary Lucina's assist, which is exceptional. It's very unique in what it does, and what it does is it's essentially a swap plus refresh. So she doesn't have Future Vision 2, interestingly enough, because Legendary Lucina has her remake, so she did get Future Vision 2. This version of Lucina does at least get Future Vision that has the majority of the really powerful effect, which is essentially the swap and then the refresh to Lucina herself after the swap. So what that essentially means is that she gets a free activation for Gerbera Axe because she can use her Future Vision as a movement assist and then get a refresh. The exception being, if like Bridal Fjorm or something prevented her from doing movement-based assists, but beyond that, it actually synergizes really well with Future Vision, and once that happens, it neutralizes foes' bonuses during combat. And then if she's enemy phasing, or if foes' HP is greater than or equal to 75%, +5 to all stats, and reduces damage from the first attack by 40%. These are all really solid things, I think, that synergize well with each other and work within the confines of what she's trying to do. Kestrel Stance 3 for the A slot. If enemy phasing, grants attack speed +6 to unit during combat, and inflicts special cooldown charge -1 on foe per attack. Okay. Savvy Fighter 3. Okay. So this is new. If enemy phasing, neutralizes effects that guarantee foes follow-up attacks and effects that prevent units' follow-up attacks during combat. And also, if unit speed is greater than or equal to foe's speed -4, reduces damage from foe's first attack during combat by 30%. That is a really good B slot for speedy armors. So not only does that have built-in damage reduction, it also prevents skills that activate the enemy's guaranteed follow-up attacks and those that prevent your follow-up attacks as an armor, and if they're speedy, they're going to have, more likely than not, they're going to be able to naturally double. So Savvy Fighter is going to allow them to just go ahead and double with impunity, get damage reduction, and prevent the enemy from doubling through a skill. That's actually very good. And the damage reduction is going to stack with Gerbera Axe's damage reduction on the foe's first attack. So it's 40% from Gerbera Axe, 30% from Savvy Fighter. I don't believe the effect is additive. I think it's multiplicative, in which case you've got 40%, and then the additional 30% would be of the remaining 60%. So that would be, what, an additional 20%? So you're talking about a total 60% damage reduction on the first attack, which is very sizable and very decent. And then attack defense near save 3. So overall, this kit is solid and synergistic. She's essentially going to be a speedy armor that has a lot of damage reduction up front. She's going to be able to double with impunity, and she's going to be able to use her future vision both offensively and defensively, because she's going to be able to orient herself and shift herself within 2 spaces of her ally in any which direction. And that's actually going to allow the near save 3 to come into effect and protect the ally that she's basically hovering near. So it really does seem like she is going to be a potent near save unit. So I think she's going to fulfill that role really well with the kit that they've given her. And that future vision is going to make her pretty unique in that regard. So not too shabby. All right, up next we've got Robin. We got female Robin, the Tactful Deliverer. Really beautiful art as well. She is going to be an armor colorless tome unit, so that is interesting. Love the floating wreath, love the pigtails with the pink flower adornments, the soft shading on the silky fabric of the dress, how it cinches at the waist to accentuate sort of the hourglass figure. I think they did a great job with Robin's art, and it's interesting that she is in fact a colorless tome armor. That is relatively rare. Also showing off that she has a save skill as well. So Akemene's Furl. Okay, so it's her own unique colorless tome, 14 might. So starting off with a killer slaying effect, grants effects based on number of movement types on the current team, excluding unit. Okay, so it's integrating the whole tactics thing. Okay, if greater than or equal to 1, inflicts -5 to attack, defense, and res on foes within 3 spaces during combat. So an in-combat debuff. If greater than or equal to 2, reduces damage from foes' first attack during combat by 30%. If greater than or equal to 3, grants when unit deals damage to foe during combat, restores 5 HP to unit, triggers even when 0 damage is dealt to unit and allies within 3 spaces of unit during combat. That's really unique. That's just an interesting cornucopia of different abilities that will stack on top of each other the more variety or movement variety you have on your particular team. So successively, you are rewarded the more variety you have on the team. And I think that's really cool. I think that that's a nice effect, especially for players out there that like to incorporate movement diversity on their teams. Even at a base level, if you're greater than or equal to 1, you get -5 to attack, defense, and res as an in-combat debuff. And that's pretty darn solid. But really, you get into the juicy stuff when you have all 3 of the effects, because then you get the damage reduction, then you get the healing effect, not only for Robin, but also for allies within 3 spaces. That's really interesting. Got Iceberg for the special, even follow-up 3 for the B slot, and attack, defense, far, save 3. It's actually kind of interesting, because Lucina is built to actually nullify all of the effects of even follow-up 3. So it's almost like Lucina is a counter to Robin here in a lot of ways. So Robin as a whole looks really, really niche, but also really, really interesting. She's not going to be as versatile as somebody like Lucina, but if you get her to shine, she's going to be a great support, in addition to doing great work as a save unit. Love that sort of flower tornado effect for her weapon. That's really cool. Okay, so we've got the devoted defender Owain, and he's going to be a cavalry blue lancer. It's actually kind of a very short lance. It almost looks like a sword, but he has the lance in one hand. I guess it's a one-handed lance. Is that the idea? Because he's got a bouquet in the other. But yeah, great to see Owain, or another version of Owain in the game. The art is a little bit rough. It feels almost unfinished. Like, I feel like his hair doesn't have the depth and the shading. I also feel like the facial features aren't really that well defined. I don't know if this is because he's the 4-star special unit of the banner, which I'm anticipating he is, and so they decided to not put in the full effort into the art, but I don't know, it's a little rough. It's a little rough. Got it. At least in his neutral art. His attacking art, actually, from the profile up there, looks pretty good. Piercing Tribute Plus is going to be his lance. It is inheritable, 14 might. If foe initiates combat, or a foe's HP is greater than or equal to 75% at start of combat, grants +5 to attack and speed, and neutralizes effects that guarantee foes follow-up attacks during combat. That's actually not too bad. Blue Flame for the special, so boost damage by 10, and if unit is adjacent to an ally, boosts damage by 25 instead. So it does look like Blue Flame is going to be available in the 4-star special pool here, so that's something to definitely bear in mind. Attack speed bond 3 for the A slot and Wings of Mercy for the B slot. So aside from Blue Flame, Piercing Tribute's alright. Aside from Blue Flame, little lackluster, but he is the 4-star special. He is going to be a decent merge project for folks. Cavalry Lancers are a dime a dozen, so there's a lot of options out there. So it is also very competitive, but at the same time, if you're a fan of Owain, this might be a great opportunity to get a plus 10 of him, or at least of some variant of him. So again, Blue Flame being in the 4-star pool, this is actually a great opportunity to pick up extra Blue Flames if you would like them for your teams or for your units. But otherwise, not terribly remarkable, I would say. So, like I said, I think his attacking art ends up being a lot better. Yeah, I think it looks a lot better than his neutral art. I don't know, his neutral art looks a little off to me. Okay, and then we have the duo of, the Fate-Defying duo, I should say, of Chrom and Robin, male Robin at that. Yeah, so they are going to be an infantry red archer. Yeah, I said this in the FEH channel. The art, I think, is beautiful. Just really captivating, gorgeous details, brilliant shading on the cloth and the fabric, great composition. You have representation of both of them sort of equally. Chrom with the one hand on Robin's shoulder, and then Robin with the hand sort of extended, open palm. They both have their bouquets. It comes together really, really nicely, and they look really great together. Both very, very dapper-looking fellows. So let's see what they're all about. Let's see what they've got. So Destiny's Bow. It's going to be their own unique bow, non-inheritable, 14 might, has a killer slaying effect, effective against flying and armored foes. Okay. And then if movement assist skill is used by unit or target's unit during 1 through 4 turns, grant special cooldown count -1 to unit and target ally or unit and targeting ally. Once per turn only. If unit initiates combat or is within 2 spaces of an ally, grants +5 to all stats to unit during combat, and unit makes a guaranteed follow-up attack? Really? That's a packed... Okay, so let's unpack that packed weapon. Killer slaying effect, which is great. And then if he uses his assist, which is 2 change fate, which of course, as we know, is legendary Chrom's movement assist that also refreshes him. And so they're going to have a self-refresh built into their assist, which is also going to grant them and their target -1 special cooldown, like just as you do the assist. So that means essentially that it's going to be an activated special cooldown count -1, which I don't think we've had. I don't think that actually exists. I'm trying to think of a scenario where that happens, where you actually initiate and create the special cooldown count -1 on an ally. I don't think that happens other than passive skills, but so they get their own. The duo actually has a special cooldown count -1 when they do their 2 change fate assist as well. And then as long as they're within 2 spaces of an ally, which is incredibly easy to meet of a condition, or they're initiating combat in any scenario, +5 to all stats and got guaranteed follow-up attack. And we can see they have 2 change fate as a movement-based assist, which is a reposition with essentially a built-in refresh. The kicker being that they get +6 to their attack as part of that. They also get -1 cooldown because of Destiny's Bow. But in addition to that, they have isolation put on them. So they actually aren't able to be danced again after that refresh, or really do any movement-based assist afterwards, which is meant to sort of balance it out. But still very, very, very strong. And they have Deadeye for the special, which is an Archer exclusive special, which is extremely premium. Only a few units in the game currently have Deadeye available. Doubles damage dealt, disables non-special skills that reduce damage by X%. So it nullifies, or actually ignores, I should say, damage reduction outside of specials that have damage reduction, and doubles damage dealt. As we get more and more of these skills that give damage reduction, they keep pumping them out, and we're getting a ton of them. The more and more that happens, the more relevant skills like Deadeye are going to be. And this is going to be a great skill for him. So close salvo for the A slot. Unit can counterattack regardless of foe's range. At start of combat, if unit's HP is greater than or equal to 25%, grants attack +5 during combat, but after combat, if unit attacked, deals 5 damage to unit. Yeah, I don't love that. So it sounds like they're trying to balance it out a little bit, which I understand treading carefully in these waters, but it's a little bit different from the push 4 skills. So the push 4 skills, has a similar effect where you take you take damage after you attack, and it has an HP condition for the actual damage boost that you get. So it is balanced in that respect. The difference there is that in an offensive skill, you're not guaranteed to tank a hit. In close salvo, you're always going to be tanking a hit, unless you're vantaging, which he doesn't come with Vantage. And even then, I don't know if that's really ideal. But that notwithstanding, he's built to tank a hit. If that's the case, then essentially you're not only tanking that hit, but you're also taking tick damage afterwards and only getting +5 attack out of it. And +5 attack is decent, but I don't know if it's worth always taking 5 damage every single time. I'm not so sure about that. Now, that being said, you could put Mystic Boost on them, and that would counteract the chip damage that you take from close salvo. But then you're giving up either the B slot or the seal, and in both cases, an infantry archer has so many powerful options for a B slot skill, for a seal, that you're probably not going to want to give up specifically for Mystic Boost. It may be that Mystic Boost works perfectly, because it does sound like he's going to have some defensive capabilities. He's going to want to tank attacks like that, so maybe it just fits. But just looking at the skills separate and distinct from that, the chip damage balancing for a defensive skill, I feel like it doesn't work as well as with an offensive skill. Times pulse 3 for the C slot. At start of turn, if special cooldown count is at its maximum value, grants special cooldown count -1. That is interesting. So essentially what that means is that the duo of Chrom and Robin are built to have Deadeye at a 0-turn charge on turn 1 when they're initiating, and it's going to do tons of damage. Deadeye has a 3-turn cooldown. The Destiny Bow has a killer slaying effect, so that's -1. The Times Pulse is going to activate at the beginning of the turn, so that's another charge. And then as soon as he uses to change fate as his movement-based assist, he is going to get another special charge, and that is going to grant the Deadeye as an insta-charge that they can initiate on whoever they want. So that's very powerful, very potent. So to me, the combination of Deadeye to change fate and Destiny's Bow all together is a really, really deadly and synergistic combination. Those movement shenanigans can be really deceptive on things like Ether Raid defense, so I'm sure there's going to be a lot of ploys and strategies revolving around that. Close salvo, again, I don't love, but I think that probably with his stat line, the duo of Chrom and Robin are going to be a great close counter unit. I'm just not convinced that close salvo is a great upgrade or even side grade, but I guess time will tell on that one. So we have to see what the duo skill does and how that fits into the rest of his abilities. Yeah, and even the armor effectiveness, that's really, really potent. So the duo skill inflicts -5 to all stats of unit and allies within 2 spaces of unit through their next actions, and grants Grand Strategy to those units. Grants the following effect to unit for 1 turn. Foe cannot make a follow-up attack. Grand Strategy grants bonus to all stats during combat equal to the current penalty on each of the unit stats, ×2 for 1 turn. Calculates each stat bonus independently. Units' negative effects that last through unit's next action will remain in effect until this status, Grand Strategy, is neutralized. So big brain strats from Chrom and Robin. Probably from Robin, right? It's the strategist. So they self-inflict a debuff to themselves and their allies, and then also give them all this buff called Grand Strategy. This buff creates the effect that we've seen in the past, but it essentially doubles or adds 2 times that bonus of the debuff. So Grand Strategy essentially takes that -5 debuff to all of their stats and all of their ally stats, and during combat makes it a net +5 in combat buff to all of their stats. That's really good. And the reason why it's so good is because that prevents the enemy from debuffing you. And it also stacks with any activated buffs that you put on yourself. So there's a lot of applications here, but essentially you're giving your characters a buff that stacks with so many other things. It also prevents the enemy's strategy of debuffing you, because essentially your debuffs become your strengths. It's actually really interesting and really smart, and allows you to reach whole new thresholds of buffs to stats based on this, because you can activate it at will. I mean, you have the freedom to activate this and use it in tandem with any other activated buffs and in-combat buffs that you have on your team. Not even taking into consideration the other effect the duo skill gets, which is foe cannot make a follow-up attack. So it neutralizes the enemy's ability to do a follow-up attack on Chrom and Robin. So that is also very, very good. I think this duo skill is really unique. I love the idea behind it. I think it's great. I don't know if it's completely synergistic with their kit, but it's certainly not working against their kit. I think it works perfectly fine with them. And yeah, I do find it fascinating. I think that's very interesting. And the fact that they called it Grand Strategy, they knew what they were doing. I think that's really, it's very interesting. So we're going to see it in action here. They're going to activate their duo skill.
Lean on me. Always do.
There they are together, looking great.
I'm grateful to you.
And yeah, so they have debuffs on them, but those debuffs essentially turn into activated combat buffs, as you can see there. Let's talk about our feelings. I love it. Paralogue story, here with me. So here are the units. Here's the Paralogue story that we're getting, and of course we are going to be getting Lissa as a free Tempest Trial Plus unit, so that's great. So starting on the 7th and going for an entire month, here with me, the Valentine's 2022 Awakening banner. Owain, as mentioned and as now here confirmed, is going to be the 4-star focus unit of the banner, even color distribution across. Evaluating the banner as a whole, I don't think it's a surprise really that the duo of Chrom and Robin are probably the prize of the banner. Lucina comes close. I think that she's really, really potent. I also think that she's a little bit boring. I mean, I think that what she's going to do is effective. I also just am not like terribly excited. I think that Chrom and Robin, though, bring a lot to the table that's unique and fun and just new. And I think also female Robin brings a lot to the table that's unique and fun and interesting. I just think that she's going to be niche and relegated to specific teams, specific compositions and strategies. But I think that what they did with her is really, it's really fun. So from that perspective, you know, I do think that she has her merits, but I think from a strict power level perspective, I don't think that she's going to be quite as versatile as the other units. Owain is down at the bottom. I mean, Blue Flame, 4-star Blue Flame. You have basically almost a 4% chance of getting Blue Flame from any given stone. So, you know, take that for what you will if you would like to get Blue Flame. And of course, he's also going to be a decent merge project. Pretty easy to get that +10 as the 4-star special unit on the banner, if that would be your goal at the end of the day. Lucina also comes with that Savvy skill, which I think is going to be coveted going forward for speedy armored units. So that's another like check in the list for Lucina there. It's actually interesting to think about because, like I said, I think Lucina ends up countering a lot of what female Robin does on this banner. And then Chrom and Robin, they have Deadeye, which neutralizes all of the damage reduction that Lucina has because it's not based on a special. Lucina works decently well as a save unit. If you don't have any near save units, then she can fulfill that role. But otherwise, I think she's pretty replaceable. You have Chrom and Robin that I think have more unique elements to them, and they're very powerful elements as well, but I also don't think that you absolutely need to have them. And then you've got female Robin, which again is I want to praise them for creating this unit, but I also think that she's only going to work in certain teams and specifically for compositions built around her. That said, the designs are beautiful, the art is gorgeous, the characters are popular, so go ham if you want to. Nobody can blame you for it. For me personally, I basically have no orbs, so I'm probably not going to be summoning on this banner. We'll see. It's around for an entire month, so there's no real rush. But there's a Hero Fest, a Hero Rises banner is coming around as well. So there's a lot of orb drains coming up. And then who knows what else is going to be announced. If everything that gets announced I'm not interested in, maybe I'll come back to this banner. But I think I'm probably going to unfortunately have to pass on it just on the basis of me not having any orbs. But let me know in the comments below if you're excited for this banner, if you're excited for these units, and if you are going to be summoning, who your targets are going to be. I wish you the best of luck on your summons, and I hope you get all of the characters and the merges that you're looking for. Hopefully you all enjoyed the video. If you did, please feel free to leave us a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more Fire Emblem Heroes content. We thank you all so much for watching and for taking time out of your day to spend with us. We really do appreciate it. Certainly hoping you're all staying safe, healthy, secure, and united out there, and wishing the very, very best for you, your family, and your friends. And until next time, let's protect those skies.